Hello. Hi everyone. Welcome to Selenium Python training program. Today we are going to discuss about a web table. So what is a web table? See, usually in the real world, developers when they are developing the application, if your application is having a huge amount of data, so they will represent it in form of a table so that everyone by looking into the table they can easily understand what exactly the data is. So a best example here is the HTML W3 schools, whatever I have opened. This, they have represented in a table. It has a two columns inside that. This is my first column, a tag column, and this is my description column. And we have a multiple rows inside this. Okay, we have a multiple rows inside this. Now, using our WebDriver program, what I need to do is I can frame multiple scenarios here. Get second, third, and four row names in tag name column. So this is what my first scenario is. I would like to get the row names for the tag name column. See, in the tag name, the first is going to be the tag name, 2, 3, and a 4. All these info I need to capture using my WebDriver program. Okay, the steps here are identify XPath for the desired three objects and see if there is any similarity between all of them. So here, second object, third object, and a fourth object. See, I have a listed down here, second, third, and as well as a fourth object, I have a listed down here. And now what I'm going to do, right click on a second object, inspect, and here this object is under a TD, under a TR, and it has under a T body table. So what is this table T body TR? So table represents whole table, T body represents the table body, and then TR represents a row. TD oblique TH represents a table column. See here, a row means the horizontal line, this complete horizontal line. See, whenever I mouse over on a TR, the whole line is highlighting. The whole line is highlighting. And if I expand the TR, see, it has a two TDs. The first TD is highlighting the tag name, and the second TD is highlighting the description. As per my scenario, I want this TD itself. So I can write down my XPath tr1, tr2. So slash tr of a 2, it is identifying the complete table row slash td of a 1. In the row 2, identify the first table column. tr2 represents a table row 2 slash td of a 1 represents that particular one. This is what an XPath for that object. Copy it, paste it here in the document. The same way for the third one, if you observe here, the row number is changing. Hence, I changed it to 3. See, automatically the next object is identifying. So here only the TR is changing. And for the next object, in order to get the fourth object, again, the TR4 is changing here. So here, if you observe, I pasted that XPath too. If you clearly observe, guys, for all the three objects, I'm highlighting the common XPath. See, before a number, it is a common. Only thing it is changing for all the three objects is the number part itself. See, before the number, whatever I have highlighted, it's common for all the three objects. It's common for everything. The only thing it's changing here is a 2, 3, and a 4. So what can I do means, as only number is changing, why can't I create a for loop in which I can add number dynamically in such a way that before XPath plus number plus after XPath. In the before number XPath, I will store this one. And in the after XPath, I will store after the number. And the for loop, I want to start it from 2, 3, and a 4, so that whenever the for loop is a 2, the I value is 2 in a for loop, it is generating this XPath. And whenever the value is 3, it's going to generate the next XPath. Like that, we have to create. Good enough. So go back to your program. Let me create a new test script for this. So demo 27, and in this 27 delete all unnecessary commands. I don't want all these commands deleted. Change the application URL. I'm just copying the URL and I'm just updating the URL. And once after the URL got updated, this is what my XPath is copied. And I thought of splitting my XPath before the number and after the number. So go to this document. Before a number is equal to, after number is equal to. What is before number? See, whatever is there, copy it, paste it in this before number. And what is after number? Copy it and paste it here. Now my requirement is before number plus 2 comma 3 comma 4 plus after number. This 2 comma 3 comma 4, it should come from the for loop. See, this 2 comma 3 comma 4 needs to come from for loop. Okay, this should come from the for loop. Okay, good enough. So let me start my for loop. For, and here what I am doing means, okay, for, once we started this one, here I don't want to give my index or anything, hence I am representing with a dash here. For dash in range of, I want to start from 2 and I want to end it till 4, hence I'm giving here as a 5. In range of 2 comma 5, and here it should range from 2 to 5. It will start with the 2 and it will end with a 5. In range of a 2 to 5, and here the next point is, once after it's ranging from 2 to 5, then my XPath is equal to before number, right? My XPath is equal to before number plus that dash, right? That dash plus after number. Usually this is an integer. So whenever we are trying to add a string and integer, it will throw an error message. That's the reason I'm using str of this value. So whatever this integer is there, as we are using a str, this value will be converted into a string now. So the whole thing is converted into a string xp1. So initially the for loop will start with the 2. If you observe what xp1 is going to generate means before number plus 2 plus after number. This is what the XPath of that object it's going to generate from that xp1. So once my XPath got generated, directly I can use driver dot find element by XPath of xp1, and I can use a dot text command which will be getting the text from that object. Value is equal to, and here print value. That's it. Now let me try to run my script and it is printing on all the three values here or not. So I'm just executing my test script. See, if you observe the browser in a minimized mode, it's still loading the browser. And once the browser got successfully loaded, it will try to execute it. Whether if it is failed, we can get an error message. See here, the three values got returned to the console. Let me cross check those three values. The first value is exclamatory mark, the second value contains doc type, and the third value contains a exclamatory mark, doc type a. All the three got retrieved successfully, and we printed that to the console. So with which we can understand that though we haven't specified it here, we can use it in a range. For the range, we have to go with a start index and as well as a stop index. Good enough. So in this example, the first scenario, what we have created, we captured the tag name. So the next scenario I want to create here is get 2, 3, and a 4 from description name column. See here, I want to capture it from the description name. See, the only point which I identified here is the description is under TD2. That's the only thing I have identified. Change instead of a TD1, when I'm changing it to TD2, it's identifying the desired object. 2, 3, and a 4. So here TD1 is representing the tag name and TD2 is representing the description. So I can copy my existing scripts and I can create a new program here with a name as a 28. And in the new program, after number, instead of a TD1, I'm just changing it to TD2, which is representing the second column. And now when I run my test script as a Java application this time, or run as my script as an application, this time my requirement is it should get the description and it should print to the console. Okay, let us see, it's loading the application. It will take bit more time to load the complete application, but the three lines got retrieved. Defines a comment, defines a doc type, defines a hyperlink. See, comment, a doc type, hyperlink, all the three values got retrieved and printed. Good enough. Upon changing TD offer to my previous script got worked here. And the third scenario is get 2, 3, 4 row names in both tag name and the description column. See here, guys, this time I just want to print both the things, tag name followed by a description. I copied my script and I pasted here with a new script as a 29. Okay, and in this 29, the after number I'm splitting into two parts, after number description, and the same way after number tag which has the TD1. See, TD1 I'm storing it in an after number tag, and TD2 I'm storing it in an after number description. So my XPath 1, it's going to be after number tag, and the similar way here I can use tag name, and this value I'm printing here. In the same for loop, I can add a one more logic. XPath 2 is equal to before number plus str of that dash plus after number of a description. Again, description is equal to driver dot find element by XPath of xp2 dot text, and here print description. That's it. I just used this print description. Now, when I run my test script this time, it will be printing both the tag name and as well as a description to the console. Okay, tag name and as well as a description to the console. Let us see. See, tag name, description, tag name, description, tag name and description for the three rows got retrieved and printed to the console. Good enough. In order to complete this scenario, we can use two after numbers, and we can use the above logic in same for loop for two times. That's it. And the last scenario is get both tag name and the description for all the rows in the table. This is what the last scenario is. I need to get all the rows. Okay. So here the toughest point is how come I know the total number of rows in the table? right? The total number of rows in a table. The simplest way is identify the table, and on the table, I noticed that all the rows are starting with tag name as a tr. Hence, on the table object, I can use a find elements command with the tr, which will be capturing all the values or all the rows in the table. And in the above for loop, instead of using a 5, we can use length of that list. List means the total number of rows. It will be rotating on all the values. Good enough. Let me copy this scenario and create a final scenario with a name as a 30. And in this scenario, I need to write down my XPath for this table. See, the table is having a class name // table, open braces at the rate a class is equal to /t body. This is what my actual table is. So copy this table, go back to your script. As soon as we open the application, driver.find element by XPath table is equal to. And now in this table, we have a multiple objects, right? We have a multiple objects which are starting with a tag name as a tr. So find elements by tag name as a tr. Find elements by tr. And this tr is equal to table rows is equal to. In order to know how many rows are there, we can use len method. See here, print len of table rows. Automatically, it will be printing the total number of rows value. So the same length of rows, I'm just replacing this 5 with that value. So what it will happen, this loop will start with the number 2 and it will end with the total number of rows in a table. So when I run my test script this time, it should print both the tag name and description for all the rows present in that particular table. And this we can call it as a dynamic way of handling a web table. The reason is, in future, if your application is having a 300 rows, this script will be retrieving 300 rows. So here we have a 120 number of rows. In future, if your script is having just a 3 number of rows, the same script will be retrieving all the 3 rows of information. So this is the way how to handle web tables, and this concept we can also call it as dynamic web table handling in WebDriver. Cool. That's all I have. See you again in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye.